Welcome to Pixel Pushers. I'm Deepak.
And I am Dilmer Valecillos, and today we're diving deep into Don Tyler from YoLabs and creative genius not between, with Worlds of Montezuma. Welcome, Don.
Hey, nice to see you guys. Excited as always to chat with you.
Now, I love that you're on the show, and why I wanted to invite you is you're sort of inventing sort of like new forms of entertainment, like on Fortnite, these interactive sort of game shows. I'm even teasing these sort of like real time Formula One events inside like UGC systems.
Yeah, we're all over the place. I kind of tell people that we're building like transmedia entertainment, which I kind of actually don't love that term, but we're building a world in which the boundary of platform is no longer an issue. Our content can live anywhere, and it works together in a system.
The World of Montezuma blends gaming and comedy and celebrity interactions. What made you think Fortnite was the right platform for this kind of storytelling?
That's a great question because there was a lot of options. I mean, not a lot, but there were, Roblox and Fortnite were an option at the time. It just seemed at the moment we were getting ready to release that, it seemed that with UEFN and they were putting some new focus on creator tools and community, and that was what really kind of made it easy for us to kind of adapt our world. We had been playing around with building our own world and just a game engine before. We wanted to make real interactive playable content, so of course we went into a game engine. So Unreal was what we were jumping into at the time. MetaHumans had just come out, and there was promise of metahumans being able to be brought into UEFN as playable characters, and our characters at the time were on a metahuman base, so we were very excited. We're like, oh, this is the moment. And so we jumped in full force, and it was good, bad, everything in between.
What was sort of like the biggest like technical hurdles? And for those who don't know, like Don has like this huge like music video background. He's picked up scripting and learning verse. Like, what? I assume there was many challenges, but you're someone who overcomes it. What was the biggest things?
Ooh, well, if we're speaking in terms of doing episodic into something like that, into a platform like UEFN, one of the big challenges is, I mean, you're right, there's many of them. One of the big challenges would be just how big can you make a show? If you want a 22-minute playable and you want branching narratives and stuff like that, like you only have so much allotted space in a UGC system. I believe at the time it was 2 gigs for the entire world. So we had to leverage a lot of things like pre-built assets that didn't, tax our world limit when building. Like that was one thing to consider. Another thing to consider is just going after a pure rating system. Like if you want to push the edge on like what's funny on a younger platform like a Fortnite, there is a rating process that you have to go through, and then there's a lot of assets that need to get checked, and if they get flagged at the time, Epic was it was in its infancy developing that system on how they would check that content. So it was a little tricky to go through just, a peer review of sorts to get that out the door. So there's many things. It's complex. It's complex. And, when we were setting the system up, we did it with 3 people. And so that was a feat in and of itself.
I think that's what people don't realize. Like traditional like UGC systems, right? They do the game thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, let me build a tycoon game. Let me build a like simulator, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're like charting this new course, right? Which is like episodic, real life entertainment, things you sort of see like in Dilmer's world in like the VR space. So I love that you're bridging the gap. That's sort of why we wanted to bring you sort of to the Creator Academy, because like we want to get you working cross-platform wise. Like what'd you learn about, like, now that I've teased you over to the dark side, right? Like,
yeah,
you learn about sort of like operating in other UGC ecosystems.
Well, so okay, one, you have real tasty Kool-Aid over there, and I drank it, and it was real good and tasty, and I liked it. Well, I don't know how much we can talk about like what I know where we're going, like what, and I only know what you've told me and what we had the event, so I don't know what I'm allowed to discuss. But what was previewed to us is very, very promising. It's much more akin to that experience that teased me over to UEFN, and that was exciting. Look, also point blank, the win that Meta has right now, in my opinion, this is like not even a sales pitch or anything like that, is the connectivity of all their family of apps. Like that right there is like sign me up. Like it's so hard. UGC is awesome, but here's the problem I have with UGC right now, the current state of it, whether that's Roblox or Fortnite. And let's just say that those are like the two largest in the gaming space of how people are going to be creating their own experiences right now, arguably. There are other ones, but those for like broad strokes, brands are hopping in there and stuff like that. You still got to get people to the show. Like you still got to market and advertise it. It's like, and then how? So the problem we were having with doing like adult animated comedy in a platform like a Fortnite, in a UEFN, was not only did you have to like, you kind of had to like, we had to kind of reverse engineer. We had to go get the older people to think it's cool, but then you have to go explain why Fortnite's cool. And then so that's this really interesting problem that you have, that like the older people that are kind of aged out of Fortnite and that didn't get it yet, they were 24 at the time, 20, to 30, like that kind of demographic. You kind of have to explain. They know what Fortnite is, but you kind of got to explain what had transpired over the last decade in Fortnite. That no, it's now like they build stuff now and they do your own worlds, and it's a lot of explanation. And then they kind of get episodic. The people that really get episodic are even the age above that, or like the 30 plus age group that grew up with like television and stuff like that. So I think we're in this really interesting moment. I mean, I was thrilled to be there. And when the moment I felt the most heard and why I was brought there, because I'll be honest, there was moments I was like, I don't know why I'm brought here yet, but I'm listening. But when we were in the keynote, and James Cameron basically calls for like playable television. He's like interactive television, Horizon TV. He wants this whole like, that's what we're doing. Like we have a shared vision, James Cameron and I, in that sense. So I too would like to do that, but I do see that episodic traditional television, short form format, 22 minutes or less, like, a play. Like I think life is going to be turning into much more like plays, like these like interactive, immersive experiences that are connected on so many tentacles that can experientially like enhance what you're doing. That's just, I think, where we're heading right now. Period.
Yeah, I was sitting in the show, in the keynote too, Don, when that happens, and James Cameron was showing. I mean, they show a studio and some of the new hyperscape technology, and then James Cameron was showing like the stuff with Avatar and how quests and all these new mediums, you're gonna be able to experience movies in a completely different way. And like I can see, as a person that makes YouTube videos and content, I mean, we're like in a 2D editor, right? Like you're editing in a 2D and then going through phases. But then if you add like an immersive type of experience where you can have like avatars and other things in the stage and control the story, like I think like you said, like the future, like this is the future. And the cool thing is with the family of apps, like you mentioned, you're not trying to do one before the other. It's like, well, I need an audience, but where is the audience? And we have the audience. Like we're building the audience, and yeah, I agree. Like you're like being in the space right now. It's a good thing to do, and I'm really curious about, because Unreal, it's a complicated base, right? Unity, everybody jumps into Unity, you jump in, and it's a lot easier. But when it comes to Unreal and actually creating a workflow to build what you build with the Formula Fancast, like some of that stuff is new. Like, could you walk me through that workflow? How do you actually build necessary with real-time rendering, with metahumans? I'm just curious about that process.
So we switched out of metahumans. We're now on a character creator pipeline. We're on a Reillusion character pipeline right now because at the time when we switched, this is not a knock on anything Epic or anything like that. We were having issues with metahumans going into UEFN. It wasn't quite worked out yet, and then we were having some just issues with like what we wanted to get accomplished, and we couldn't package the metahumans small enough to get the performance that we wanted to. So Reillusion made a really good sense to like pop over there, and then the one thing I say is challenging with all of this in this new world, which I think is interesting, which AI kind of like is a lot of people that are using AI right now are not realizing this, but I think I have a feeling we're going to kind of come back to a combined version of what I'm about to describe. You have to learn so many systems to do this. Like, it's like so many apps and so many systems. It's like I had to learn. MetaHuman at the time was like super silly, easy. It was like a video game like character adapter. You're like, oh, cool. I want to change the head. I want to do this. But then when you get into like a pipeline designed for character creation, like a character creator, it's a whole new pipeline. So like the big thing that I think that a lot of creators right now could really win with AI is that you don't have AI replace stuff, but there are ways to get you faster into the programs, right now. That's what we've been learning. So we have to learn so many tools so quickly to do this and deploy these things and to build the pipeline like what you're talking about, Dilmer. It took time. We've been building some version of the pipeline for I'm going to say down like 3.5 years. We first figured out how to like punch a hole and create an actual real-time environment where everyone would join production remotely. So like this, like we're doing right now, this is very similar to how we join production, but we're all synced up with LiveLink on our phones, with a device right there. And then that's going to right now we all connect into one environment in real time. Okay. And then we use a series of well, first and foremost, we're running a lot of systems. We have a lot of systems, not crazy, not but we probably have 25 systems that we run to run the show live in real time. And so we have, I could go in detail about forking data across systems and why we do it. But basically the long and the short of it is we separate all critical components of production. The audio is on a Dante pipeline, so they get separated out and cleaned. The video is on an NDI pipeline. It's also figured, recorded on its own pipeline. And then we have all of our in-channel broadcast stuff. So if we need to we have a machine that takes all the live data from the Formula One stuff, and we basically feed a track from that. And then we've gone as far as figured out and actually fed the data 1-to-1. So driver A's car left front tire to driver, simulated driver A's left front tire, and 1-to-1 with geopositional data. And that the problem is you still run into some licensing issues, so that's still there. So we just don't, we use it for our internal to kind of see what's going on with everything. But when we broadcast out, we're just broadcasting out our ones and zeros and just more parodying it and talking about it. It was an opportunity that we got to jump in there. We built them a pipeline to it, and ironically, that's kind of where it went to. We have our show, the pipeline that we built to be able to build a show in Fortnite is the same pipeline that we carry through whatever we're probably going to discuss today. Is we're using the same pipeline because it allows us to do a lot of things with that many systems and that much thought to evergreen content. When you break down hey, I want to remix this. Well, how much do you want to remix it? You should probably record the motion data because then you can put it on any character, and then you can. So there's so many things that there's so many opportunities in a production pipeline when we're talking evergreen content, and then moving into the future of how you can manipulate that content and remix those experiences in an AR XR mixed reality sense would be pretty powerful. So like I'm all about extrapolating the data from it and then it's stemming everything, stem the world.
Is that why you sort of like also you have a consulting business, right? Like, is that why
Mm-hmm.
you help other businesses? Because it's so many systems. Like, talk me through that process of wanting to help other companies with AI readiness, with other systems, and like maybe how does that also like inform your project as well as you're talking to these other companies and you're sort of trying to figure out the tools and tech.
Sure. Well, the simple answer is that everyone kind of what I'm seeing, at least the consumer I speak to or the client I speak to, they all kind of the same problem. It's they need a lot of content to break through the noise, and they need authenticity. They need different tracks, and we take a kind of a man in the middle approach to AI. So the tools and the stuff that we build for people or we help them create are more kind of solving specific tasks. But when we make them ready, it's like how much content do you need to play? How do you need to deploy that content? So right now, when we record, like when we do a Riverside session and we go through, we probably end up with like about 100 to 150 pieces of content across all those channels from one session. And then we do that weekly. So like the stuff that we're doing is growing. You won't see huge numbers as far as followers or anything like that. But right now we're kind of in this new realm of content where the follower count doesn't matter. It's impressions, and how much impressions are you getting and commenting on the content you're getting. And we're pulling like 1 million impressions a month because we can make so much content and feed so many different sources at once. And so like when AI is making something like a third of the content online right now, and you're competing against that as like a human entity, you probably do need AI to compete with AI at one, and two, like it's
AI
it's
talking to AI.
it's so much noise. Like, how do you break through? Everyone has the same problem of like, how do you break through to an audience? That's why again, the Kool-Aid started getting sweeter and sweeter when they were like, hey, we're going to connect all these family of apps. And honestly, WhatsApp is to me the secret demon. Like WhatsApp has some real opportunity. Yeah, don't tell anybody about that. like yeah, that's I'm a fan. There's so many things I would like to pause the recording and ask you guys. Like I've got ideas. Let's just say that.
No, that's a good like thinking about family of apps, and I mean I'm in the same boat like you are, where I like that you're saying quantity is very important, especially now with AI. I mean, we go through our feeds today, right? And you get bombarded with Sora too. You get bombarded with
Yeah.
all these different things, and you're like, I mean, Deepak and I were just talking about this the other day, and we're like, well, there's Sora, and now you can put yourself in there, and if to me personally, it feels a little weird. I'm still not to that point where like I'm gonna post, but there's an advantage there, right? Like seeing what can be done before actually you put the time in, so it could be like more for prototypal. But
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm getting to is for me, I use a lot of that stuff for like ideation. But for you, how has like quantity and TikTok and producing content has that impacted how you actually do the show?
Oh, 100%. Like right now, when we create something, I am thinking about when I'm writing a treatment for a project. I'm thinking the full through line through. Like there's essentially kind of like 5 main verticals of content. Like in my opinion, like when for a project that would go through, you have like the live build in public aspect of it. You have the behind the scenes kind of little more structured. Like what did you do? You have like an episodic, like what are you going to keep bringing people back and forth to, like there's an episodic aspect of it. Then you have some kind of interactive side of it, like well how are they going to interact with whatever that content is. And then it's like your marketing arm is like, well, what's the buy-in for the audience or the client or the consumer to bring them back? And that would be like the clipping side of this, like the short moments. You're like, oh, these are like the cultural relevant moments or the brand relevant moments or what have you. These are the relevant moments in short form that you can then look to and go, okay, you see enough of those and you're going to say, okay, I kind of like what these people are going, and maybe that will lead you to go look at some other piece of content. But then if you want to create super fans, like fans are great, but if you want to create super fans and fans that buy in and like are on every single platform and then like follow you to wherever you go, it really starts with seeding it everywhere. Like you need to like seed you, and it's not just seeding the same content everywhere, it's seeding specific content built for that platform or that silo that they would then adapt and become a fan of or buy into.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think like when I think about it, exactly what you said is it depends on the platform, but also like what is the value, right? Like the what why are they going to be seeing your content? Like every time I think about content, it's like because we are tasked to advocate, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
what we do. I'm going off script a little bit here, Tipa, because I'm passionate about this topic. But it's like what is it for them to come to you? So always whenever I'm creating content, like it's very important to think about, okay, why are they going to read that TikTok, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, can I use that data to, to compose or create something better next time that will be more impactful? So I like what you say, like depending on the platform, who are we talking to, and also like providing value. It's not just, and it could be on entertainment, it could be on answering a question. There's just a lot of parts that I think people should be thinking about as they create content.
I agree completely. I think one of the cool things that honestly the meta has, going for itself right now is that it's been at the forefront of social media for multiple decades, like quite literally. And like that's what's cool about a platform like a Facebook, who's fallen out of favor and went to the old people, and now all of a sudden in the past couple 18 months is like randomly becoming kind of cool again to go back to Facebook. So it's like it's ebbs and flows, and like when you have like a company like Meta that has like such a reach into so many different tentacles of like ways that we communicate with each other and share our shared stories, because that's all it is. It's a different way to share a story with somebody, and that's the big connection point. And I think the I applaud the Meta's even attempt, even to say that they're going to connect that is a pretty bold attempt, and that's awesome. I can't wait. I want a world where I can see it, where we can actually like where the creator of the experience can kind of, you can buy into the experience however you want. If you want just the screen, the flat experience, cool. If you want the fully immersive experience and you want them like kind of like psychologically playing with your mind, and that's like, and whether that's in a positive or like in a loving sense, or if it's horror or whatever you want to play with, like it's neat that we're at a moment in time where that's a possibility. Like the sky is the limit to how you want to like tell a story and have someone experience life with you.
But do you feel like I feel traditional like media is slow. You've said it yourself, right? It's been around for a little bit, right? Like, and you guys are deep into this field, right? But traditional media is slow to coming into this sort of interactive content, right? Immersive content, right? So what do you sort of see then? It's like, what is the opportunity space you see that they need to watch for?
I think I think honestly it's game engines, and like live real time environments that you can produce in. There's so many ways that you can. So for example, and I love that question because this is a problem that we have all the time. One of the issues that we see is that you'll have traditional television. It's expensive. Like you have a lot of people involved in it, and you have something like a Mandalorian. They're already using game engines in that, but they have the human element to it. So when we kind of moved, what I saw as an opportunity when we started doing World of Montezuma was, I was like, well, we could, if I move everything into the game engine, the characters and all, I can start putting them in anything. They're already ready to go into a game. They're already ready to go into production. They're already there. And so I thought that was a huge opportunity to kind of like get your cake and eat it too. So like if I want to make a show, I can simulate cameras, lenses. As a cinematographer, I can make Unreal look exactly how I want to, or I can make it look animated. Like it's really a sandbox of like what visually from an art and a cinematic sense that you can accomplish in it, which is exciting. So that was appealing to me, that I could basically make a show that then all these characters were playable. And then I was like, oh, I'll just figure out how to make them playable. And then I'll figure out branching narratives, and I'll figure out that. But then like when you were asking, like, how do you look at a project before, I didn't really summarize that too well. But when I write for the whole thing, or we create for the whole thing, the whole idea is like, okay, what's the playable aspect of it? What's the hook? It was really helpful at the creator camp, like going through and like learning all those like things that you kind of like, not all of them, but there's a couple things that I inherently kind of like felt that it was a feeling that I was like, oh, this is what feels right. But then to hear the science behind it and go, no, here's the science behind why this actually works. And you're like, okay, cool. And it's even more in depth than I thought. But when you're creating an entire project and you're thinking about the sound and real world building, like to me, that's the most fun, because then it's the sky's, when Disney made it, he has theme parks, everything from that mouse. You know what I mean? Like he is that is the person who did it. Like he's got theme parks, he got interactive, he's got everything right now. So the mouse has won, obviously, in that standpoint. So that's the roadmap. It took him like a very long time to do it. I think now the creators can do it in a much more condensed period of time with like utilizing AI and social media. But yes, you need to make an insane amount of content for every single platform. It's exhausting.
So that's beautiful, man. Like, so the thing that got me thinking is 4 weeks ago, we went into a Meta Connect, right? We got Meta Connect, but we actually had to prepare developer sessions. And when you were talking about Unreal and all the flexibility that you get in like putting characters in, so if you look at the developer sessions that we have, Meta Connect, like when we're talking about the tools, and I didn't know this, like when I went in, there was a big screen behind me, behind us, huge big one, and it had like multiple sets.
Yeah.
And it was like a beautiful background, and they could actually make it move. But there were more than 30, 40 people working on it. Like one person was working on the stage, one person was working on like moving the teleprompter, one person was on the TV, like making sure that you look good. Like it's like you said, like with Horizon Worlds, like there's just so much stuff in it to be able to create an experience. And the same thing with like some of these different mediums where we're trying to blend the physical world, where we have reporters now on site, and then behind the scenes is like something in Unreal. It's just crazy just to think about what you can do with the misconception, right, of gaming just for games. But no, it's like it's for production, like for making Mandalorian, for making all these different things. So what I want to get to is what are the biggest misconception people have about transmedia storytelling or interactive entertainment?
Ooh, that it's just a marketing extension. Like I think that people think that it's just a marketing extension. It's like, oh, cool. Well, I don't know. It's not putting any brand on blast, but let's say Dove soap wants to like sponsor, the Bubble Room from Bubbles the movie. You know what I mean? And then like they XYZ agency will come create a cool marketing initiative, and it has elements of experiential. Maybe it has some immersive AR or XR like component brought to it, but I feel like everyone feels like that's and it is marketing, but that's how the biggest use cases are being done. Is like I feel like advertisers are willing to play around with it because they're just like a small sampling. It's like, ooh, here I'm in Chicago for this one event, and we have some disposable budget that we can spend on something impressive, and we'll do something experiential. But then like it's also hard, a lot of the experiential things, like documenting experiential. I think showing someone your experience in experiential is very, very difficult. I think that's another reason why the metaverse, like first round one, kind of didn't pick up the steam that it should have, because I think It's like the dead mall approach. It's like going to a mall in like 2011, like an inside mall. You're like, well, 90% of the stores are closed here. There's no one here. Isn't that cool? Like that's how like a lot of the metaverses were feeling at the time. Like, you know, like when that round one kind of really peaked out. And that's the thing. It's going to be getting the hard part is not thinking it's just a marketing extension. It's actually getting the buy-in and with the studios, with the brands, with everyone involved. Our approach is at least to be forthright and say, hey, listen, we've got a plan for all these different verticals for the gaming side of it already. The storyline connects, it works together already. And if it's a new IP, I understand if it's an older IP that you're kind of readapting, but if you're creating for yourself as a young creator and you like all these things, have fun and just make all these things. Like you like making music for your show or for your characters, make music for your characters, you know, in your show. It's like, it's so democratized now that it's open for anybody.
I love that note. I want to end on that note. And so I want to like also ask you some rapid questions so people can get more of your advice in this area, because I do find it is like the emerging genre happening in our space. Mm-hmm. So like these are quick questions. First thing that comes to your mind. Don't think too long about it. We'll edit it if it's a bad.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice for creators wanting to break into transmedia?
Okay, here it is. This is the hard piece to hear. So, and I'm only just now, like in the past 3 years, sticking to my own advice. It'd be ship weekly. Don't wait for perfect. It's gonna be terrible. Just do it and get it out there. People are gonna roast you. People are gonna say it sucks. Like our stuff still sucks from how I want to do it right now, but just get it out there and evolve, because we wasted about 2 or 3 years not showing anybody anything, and we lost a lot of steam by just not taking that time to just build in public.
All right, the next one is gonna be biggest technical limitation you are excited to be solved.
Latency. I think latency is kind of like what everyone's dreaming of right here. That hyperscape, is that what it's called? Hyperscape with yeah. I like how low key. I'm not doing a very good job of rapid fire. I like how low key though at the developer conference. At the developer conference, they just basically announced teleportation. They're like, "Hey, we got like digital teleportation right now. It's hyperscape. It's like you can go into the same environment." I was like, no one just said anything with it. I'm like, oh, just under the radar, just talking about that you can just teleport with your friends to places like that. When I heard that, no one picked up on that. Like it was on day 2 in the dev conference, and when he's talking about the future vision, and they showed the hyperscape thing, I was like, and they was talking about latent space and like with each other in that space. I mean, that is like a psychological teleportation right there. You're definitely messing with the mind a little bit, and I like that. That's cool. So, sorry, that was the longest rapid fire answer. Okay, so the next one.
Yeah, I love it. I want it, even though it goes against the premise. I want to like comment back because you're spot on. Platforms you're most excited about for future projects.
Ooh, okay. So there's the normal like Roblox and Fortnite are doing cool things. Horizon Worlds. I'm not just saying it because of you guys. I'm dead serious. I want if anybody out there, if the bosses or the execs are listening, I want to like bring TV and worlds together in new ways. I think it'd be really cool. And then WhatsApp is a real fine place to start, guys. So if we could do some cool things, that'd be awesome. But yeah, no, that I think is really big. And I do think, it's going to be great. GTA they have such a huge community. I think that's going to be, and I just heard some announcements of some similar kind of UEFN-esque type buildable experiences. So that's interesting because of their audience and how adult that is, if that is true. But no, like it's your Horizon Worlds, connect those 3 billion other users to it.
Okay, let's do another one. Let's fill in the blank. In 5 years, entertainment will be
Playable.
Whoa.
us.
Wow. You nailed that round robin one. Any final words of wisdom for developers and creators exploring the space?
Um, think like a world builder, not just a developer or a filmmaker. I say thinking bigger scales. Think bigger.
No, that's beautiful, Don. So, Don, it's been great, man, to have you, and you're so, I mean, so natural, so passionate about what you do. By creating all these experiences, you're a pioneer yourself. I can't think of anybody that has done things that you're doing right now with real time rendering and the F1 and all that cool work that you're doing. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm a fan of the show when I was turned on to it. And now I'm like deep diving every episode I get. So I got the I'm in. Like you guys are great. Thank you so much.
Too kind. We're still figuring out our flows and stuff, but you're too kind. But no, tell them where they can find you. Tell them what experience they can check out. Obviously, there's the Formula Funcast for F1. There's Montezuma, and this is all on Fortnite, right? And
yeah, so we have World of Montezuma in Fortnite. We have Formula Funcast on all the social channels. And we will be dropping a new show called Apex Predators coming up here. And well, I'll tease a little bit. We have an experience that we've been building for Horizon Worlds that we're going to drop here. That's going to be pretty badass. So it's basically it'll be a racing inspired game where you can get into the politics of behind the scenes of the racing world and the underworld of underground racing.
oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
So and it'll be mobile friendly too.
Make sure to send it to us so we can check it out, Don, and even review it on the channel.
We'll do. It'll be called Formula Fun Carts.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Don, for hanging out with us today. We had a blast, talking to you. And thanks, everyone, for turning into the episode of Pixel Pushers.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.